going on, Jerome's? So the story of the day around the NFL was the release of Jaire Alexander, alleged two-time Pro Bowler, alleged two-time All-Pro, whatever. But I feel like, well, with the Packers cutting Jaire, do they have to cut his safety help too? Because they're linked as one, all that stuff. And, of course, very familiar with Jaire over the years and him ducking Justin Jefferson, all the injuries and all that stuff. But I know, like, right away, everyone and their mom is just like, oh, the Vikings and Jaire Alexander, that makes sense. The Vikings should do that because blah, 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 blah. Even though we said ad nauseum, I kind of like where the Viking secondary is, and so obviously due to the Vikings. Now, they certainly could bring aboard a guy like Jalen Ramsey, but under specific in a specific situation where if and when he's cut, they could sign him for the league minimum. You know, Asante Samuel's been bandied about as well, but Jaire just does not make a lot of sense. But, of course, that does not stop the national media Jabroni haircuts for creaming in their jeans, be like, oh, Jaire to the Vikings, just like all the other Packers are joining up with the Vikings, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't make sense. Anyways, CBS. Packers release blah, blah, blah. Vikings defense coordinator Brian Flores loves to get creative with his pressures up front. And to do that, you need extremely reliable defensive backs. Oh, you mean ones that are actually on the field? The ones that can actually cover one-on-one and don't need safety help over the top all the time? Those ones? Yeah. The Vikings have been getting with their versatile crew, getting by with their versatile crew over the last 2 years. Oh, getting by. Top 5 defense last year, getting by. But Alexander would be an immediate upgrade on almost anybody in the secondary, pairing him with Byron Murphy, Harrison Smith, Josh Metellus, and more would make for a really interesting back end of the defense. So I understand the logic, but also I feel like there's a lot of positional overlap between Jaire and Byron Murphy Jr. Also, Murph is better and more reliable, specifically in this scheme. Right? And also, not even talk about him being a malcontent, as well as basically Matt LaFleur inferring that maybe he wasn't as hurt as everyone thought, or frustration with that. Because you have a player who, in the last 34 regular season games, has played 14 of them. I don't know, especially one approaching 30. Then you have Pro Football Focus, frenemies of the Vikings, of course. Vikings, this would be a top-tier storyline. Alexander and Viking star receiver Justin Jefferson have been fierce competitors for years, taking the Packers and the Vikings divisional rivalry to the next level. Well, Jaire and safety help. Yeah. Alexander has called one of Jefferson's biggest performances, 9 catches for 184 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Packers, a fluke, and his mock Jefferson's signature gritty celebration. And again, he did that in the first quarter and like 2nd and 10. Real winner there. Alexander would also fit into defensive coordinator Brian Flores' aggressive approach with the 99th percentile PFF coverage grade since 2022, and all of his ball production, 8 interceptions. Well, it's easy to do since 2022 if you played 5 games since 2022. 8 interceptions and 21 pass breakups despite missing time. The Vikings are trying to replace Cam Beasley, Shaq Griffin, Stephon Gilmore. Oh, loaded. How are you ever going to replace Shaq Griffin and Stephon Gilmore? You can still bring Shaq Griffin back. Yeah. On last year's secondary, making Alexander a clear potential fit. Again, no one believes in Mekhi Blackman. No one believes in Dwight Newton-McLaughlin. No one believes in Jeff Okudah. Why? Why the hell not? Obviously, the Vikings coaching staff does, and so does Kwesi. Yeah. And then, of course, you got Bleacher Report. And they did top landing spots after Packers release star cornerback. Eagles are at 1. Let him go to the Eagles. Like, he'd fit in with the Eagles. Right. And then the Vikings are listed at 2. After winning 14 games a year ago, the Minnesota Vikings have big-time aspirations in 2025. But that team also has a glaring need on defense. The Vikings are 28th in the NFL against the pass last year. Well, there's a couple things that go into that, namely the lack of pass rush with 4, as well as game script. But let's ignore all that. Also, hey, let's talk about how Stephon Gilmore was straight up bad. No one wants to talk about that. As fan-sided Scott Rogust pointed out, the Woodward and Bernstein of sports writers, it wouldn't be the first time the Minnesota bolstered its squad by adding a veteran from its NFC North rivals. The Vikings know a thing or two about bringing former Packer stars, he said. In 2009, the Vikings brought, we're going to sign Jaire Alexander because we signed Favre back in 2009 and send in the Wilfs private jet down to Hattiesburg. That's great logic. I mean, yeah, Aaron Jones came over last year, but Aaron Jones still has a little something. I'm not in the mood for paying Jaire Alexander and all of his baggage and everything that basically you can't say with a straight face that he was good in the locker room with the Packers. Like, Matt LaFleur was even getting sick of him by the end, right? And also, it's going to be a big price tag. Like, he's not going to play for free, and there's going to be several teams interested in his services because they're just like, I could change him. All right, but I feel like, no, mama, you're not going to be able to change him this time around, right? So basically what you're looking at, paying Jaire Alexander $15, $16, $17 million. He'll probably play half the season. He'll probably be a malcontent the rest of the time. And I don't understand this logic, right? Because when we suggested signing up Jack Jones for the league minimum, nothing guaranteed, it's like, oh, he's a locker room cancer, bro. You can't have that. But then all of a sudden it's Jaire Alexander for his $15, $60 million. It's like, you think it's the second coming of Mel Blount. It's not happening. Now, I just don't see it. Now, if the Vikings do sign him, of course, we have to be a turncoat and be like, yeah, it's the best signing ever. But I just given the track record of Kwesi, Kevin O'Connell, I don't see them taking this big of a swing, even though they do have the cap space on a player like Jaire. All right, so yes, we love the medical guys. Yes, we love the underachievers. Yes, we love this, that, and the other thing. But I just don't see it specifically at that price point. All right, so I know all the talk is fun. It's like, oh, another Packer joined the Vikings. But I just honestly don't see it. Just don't see it. I'll probably be wrong. That's what happens. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. The national media jabroni haircuts are creaming in their jeans, their denim. It's Cool Whip denim of Jaire to the Vikings. No. Nah. Let us know. Comment section. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.